In the studio, we have with us Pam Reaves. How are you, ma'am?
Well, thanks for invite. Well, I wasn't invited. I invited myself, but
That,
thanks
that's
for
how, that's how you summer babies do. Y'all just take over stuff.
we take over. That's what we have to do, Johnny, if we want to get our message out.
Good deal. And do we need to mention any? You're a famous woman, and do we need to mention the famous husband?
I'm married to Reginald Scriber,
Woo woo, the one and only. Okay,
the one and
and,
only.
and you got a book coming. He helps a lot of people. I can just think back for years. I remember one incident at Palmer Court. And who do they call? They got to call Mr. Reggie Scriber. Anyway, tell them about the new book you're doing.
Okay, I am really excited to introduce my book to my hometown. The name of my book Is It Love or Merely a Sick Attachment?
Mm.
And everybody around the table is saying, and that was my intention. This is a book that delves into that which we all want in our human experience, that being love. But I go beyond that. I delve into toxic relationships. Now, most of us would walk away from trouble if we see it. But toxic relationships a lot of times are veiled as loving relationships. And that's what I call a sick attachment.
Mm-hmm.
A sick attachment is a relationship disorder. And that's why I want people to be aware of that. Just like any physiological disorder, early detection is your best line of defense. So we need to be aware of those kind of things in our loving relationships. We need to accept the real thing and nothing less.
Mm. Okay.
There's some interesting topics such as in the beginning, I define love because I found that a lot of times that's where the root of the problem starts. If you and your partner's definition of love is miles apart, then expect conflict, expect disagreement. So we have to start having some different types of conversations, and that's what you have in this book. Straight talking. The way you talk behind closed doors, but sometimes you filter by the time you get to the public. Is it love or merely a sick attachment? We'll address these items exactly as we whisper about.
Okay, now you're presenting this like like a professional, like Zig Ziglar, Oprah, somebody. I mean, you got some
Oh,
experience. Are
it
you
it
like a
it
PR guru?
it's going to deliver, Donnie. Life is your best experience, and so listening to people, going through what I've gone through in life, I'm just ready to speak up about those things others may be shy to talk about.
Hmm. So, give me some tips on finding somebody with similar values as yours.
Well, conversation. Sometimes we are apprehensive. I think we have to have a different type of conversation. For example, when you first meet a woman, you probably don't want to say what's your definition of love. That sounds strange, but maybe that's the type of conversation we should be
All
having.
right, what's your definition of love?
My definition of love
Or you
is,
want me to tell you mine first?
oh, yeah,
Mine is caring and sharing. You can't just say it, you got to do it. It ain't what you say, it's what you do.
yeah, and mine is showing as
Mm-hmm.
well as telling. My father used to tell me, I don't care how many times a man tells you he loves you, don't believe him until he shows you.
You heard that, Bummy? Don't believe how many times a man tells you he loves you. Believe. Say it again.
Don't believe him until he
Don't
shows
believe
you.
him until he shows you. Okay. She's
I had
still
a
waking up.
conversation with a friend years ago. He was an older guy. He told me, Pam, I miss the woman from the 60s. The woman from the 90s, she thinks too much. He said, I miss the woman from the 60s because all a man had to do was tell her he loved her and he could get anything
So
out
so
of her.
so so let's delve. I mean, I'm thinking it's the music. I'm in the gas station, and a young man pulls up. The music was so loud. I wondered, how can you actually enjoy that? Even more, how can you concentrate on not running somebody over with the music blasting so loud? But this seems to be the norm.
Well, if you,
I
that's
mean, I'm into the Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let me get some of that R&B, that good old R&B music.
right. And then
Yeah, I'm old. What?
we can't let it die. That's why sometimes we have to talk about the lyrics, rather than just shaking to the lyrics. Talk about the lyrics. Delve into what words mean. Maybe young people would then realize, just to go far beyond the beat. We have to teach them how do you develop your perceptions of love, and you do that at the early stage in life. If your perception is based on illusion and fantasy, That's how you're going to negotiate in your relationship.
Let's put a website out there, a website or contact information for anybody
Right.
in search of the book, Is It
Okay.
Love?
Right now, the pre-release copies are out there, and you can go directly to the publisher's website, and that's www.tate, T-A-T-E, publishing, that's one word, .com. You
Okay.
can also follow me on Facebook. That's Pamela Reaves, Reaves, Facebook. And until my website has finished being constructed, you can follow me there. I give updates every day. I also provide you with some inspirational thoughts that are associated with this book. But it is a book that you all need to read.
Good deal.